Okay, I want to take just a minute and show you the Camtasia recorder product. Again, this is a little bit more expensive than Snagit, but it will allow you to edit your videos. If you win a long period of time and something didn't happen, you can take that out. Again, we can also edit your videos too, so it's not that important unless you really want to fool around with it. But there are also an awful lot of video editing products that are out in the marketplace, so this is just one of them. But here in the Camtasia recorder, we can click on Capture and we can go into Record. For input, we like to set it for screen when you're recording at 640 by 480, or a window, a region, or a fixed region. And a fixed region, you type in 0, 0,0 and how big you want it to be. Ideally, we just want it to be screen, and we want to have your screen be set up to 640 by 480, 256 colors. So another thing is we want it to go to File here, and I'm going to go up to, this shows me my toolbars that are turned on. I want to go into my audio. I want to record audio. I can record cursor sounds. So every time I click, it can record that sound. Do I want to record keyboard sounds? On my cursor, I have options for hiding my cursor. This would be good if I wanted to record something where you don't want to see my pointer. If I was to record a video game, for example. Normally you don't have a cursor in a video game, so I could hide it in that case. I can highlight the click, so every time I click it changes a color. I can highlight the cursor, or I can highlight the cursor and the click. Zoom and pan is another option. Generally we don't like it, but you could use it if you want. And what it'll do is it'll draw a window around your cursor, and as you move around the screen, it'll only record the window. You can play around with this and see what it does, but for SofTutor Online projects, we'd prefer that you just record the full screen at 640 by 480. I'm going to go here into Settings. Here we can set up an annotation, which we're not going to cover in any great detail. My audio, my mouse button sound, what sound do I want it to play when I do a mouse button up. Any kind of special effects, I can set those there. I can set the volumes for them. My cursor, I can change my cursor so it's different. I can highlight the cursor. I can put, a right mouse button click could be a spiral over here or a bunch of circles that are red. Or the left mouse button click could be red, and the right mouse button click could be blue. Again, you can change these things. You can watermark your videos. Again, we don't necessarily recommend it because it will get in the way, but you could certainly watermark your videos if you want. And this is your zoom. How fast you want to zoom in. Should I center the zoom effect so it stays, so my cursor stays in the middle of the window as I'm moving around on the screen? I'm just going to hit cancel here. Go into options and go into preferences here. This is really one of the key areas where you should pay attention. Is we don't want to auto configure video. Right now I clicked on video setup, and if I'm recording on my screen with more than 256 colors, I want to use Microsoft Video 1. If I'm recording with 256 colors, then I'll use RLE. Okay? So we'll set it to RLE because we're 256 colors. And we'll say OK. Now we want to have the frame rate be consistent through our whole project. So 5 frames a second is a fine frame rate to use on slower computers, and basically images that we're running off the screen. If we're running something like a rendering product or something that moves quite a bit, we might want to use more frames per second. But again, what we basically want to do with a SofTutor product is we want to develop it for our least common denominator user. And basically, in a sense, we want to set the system up for the lowest common denominator so that all of the users will be able to see it. I could go into my audio setup. This is the ideal setup for your audio. Okay, you can set it up to be a lot higher, but if it's your voice, 11 kilohertz, 16-bit mono is very good. So we'll just choose OK. Again, consistent through the whole project. We can go here into volume, and we have the ability to adjust the volume on the microphone. Here it's selected, and the volume's turned up all the way. Again, you can adjust your own volume for your own computer and your own headset. And then basically, what's my audio capture device? In this case, it's my Creative Sound Blaster. This may be different on your computer. We want to interleave the audio once every second or once every frame. It doesn't really matter, but you want to interleave the audio, because if you don't, the video might go faster than the audio, or the audio might go faster than the video. So you want to tie your audio to a specific part on your video. Okay, now I'm going to go into File, and here every time I finish recording, it'll ask for a new file name. So it'll this is good if you're recording based on a table of contents. So if you were doing chapter 1.3, you could say 1.3, and then the next video you do might be 5.7, and the next video you do might be 9.3. As long as you're staying in line with your table of contents, this is a good thing to use. You can choose a fixed name. This is not good because every time you save it, it's going to overwrite the existing file. Or you can use automatic name. And if we call this Camtasia, we'll just call it Cam. What it's going to do is it's going to put a bunch of 001 will be my first file, 002 will be my second file, 003. So it's going to put a bunch of zeros there. And every video I make, it's going to save it as a different name. My output folder, again, this should be your largest disk drive with free space. So I can go here and it'll go into Browse. Again, if I didn't know what the largest disk drive was with disk space, I could go over to my computer, double click with the left mouse button, and this is Windows XP, so it's going to probably list a little bit different than your computer. But it says here I have 60 gig of free disk space on my C drive. So anywhere where I want to keep it on my C drive is fine. My documents is fine. I'll just choose OK. I can go into hotkeys. This is what's going to record and pause. So if the application I'm teaching uses F9 for something, then I'll want to change this to something else. If the application I'm using does not use F9, then F9 is fine. Or I could do an alternate F9, or I could do a shift and an alternate and an F9. So whatever keys you want, you can set them up. I can set up my stop hotkey. I can set up my screen draw hotkey. We're not going to record live right now. And program basically tells me how to run Camtasia. Minimize before capturing, pause before capturing, boost priority if I had a slower computer and was doing an application that didn't require a lot of CPU time. I can hide my capture rectangle, which basically it's going to show me if I'm capturing a window, it'll draw a box around this window to show me that it's recording that window. I can give it a solid capture. You can play around with these and see what you like. Again, basically we just want to hide everything so we don't see it on the screen at the same time. If I have a slower computer, I might want to see how many frames I dropped. Basically, you can set up this stuff here on the screen. Minimize before capturing is probably the best thing to do. Okay, and then just choose OK. And then when I'm all ready to go, I just click here on record and it'll start recording. Okay?